I want to start at the first of Job. I want to go over this part again, and I'm going to start at verse 6 of Job 1. We started off here with the white horse, and when God said He gonna make the world serve them, and told Jeremiah to let the world drink out of their cup, and He used the Gentiles and the Gentiles and the Gentiles and the Chaldees to go, which is the CIA, which is the spy group, to go all through the word conquering and to conquer. And when they have all these kids, when they march through the earth, causing people to serve them, they stained their clothes red. They became the red horse because of all the blood they had to shed just to gain. But at the end, he was yet troubled because it had never enhanced him. He was still dependent on other peoples and other nations to buy his good, but he was a man of war. And peoples was tired of war in here because he was the dominant peoples. What good is war if you can't win sometimes? These was the dominant people. They win victory and they exalted themselves. They made themselves. But at the end, they're challenging God because God knew He was going to do this. And this is where I say this is the United States of America. Now, Job 6. This was President George W. Bush, H.W. Bush here. Now there were a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that fears God and eschews evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Does Job fear God for naught? Has not thou made an edge about him and about his house? He didn't say nothing about his house and about all that he has on every side. Thou hast blessed the work of his hand, and his substance is increased in the land. That means these people had the heartbeat of the world. But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all of that he has is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. This was the invasion of Iraq the first time by President George H.W. Bush the father. That's what Job 1 was. Chapter 2. Job 2. Again, there was a day when the Son of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that fears God and eschews evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without a cause. He's letting us know this was two invasions, but he was using the phrase Satan, let us know that this was a father and son who was the president of this great nation, who had the same exact name and had the same characteristics. But the son was different from the father. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yet all that a man has will he give for his skin, his life. But put forth thy hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. Listen to what God said here. This was the second invasion of Iraq. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sores, boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potash to scratch himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. What is telling us? This next conquest, when the United States went in with the second Satan, the first Satan that went in, which was President George H.W. Bush, the father, who had God gave the name Satan twice. It was two different presidents and two different seasons. He let us know there's father and son. Well, this one was George W. Bush, the son. When he came in, he the one laid hands on Satan, but God told him to spare the man's life. But instead of him sparing the man's life, he took Job, who was Saddam Hussein in Bible prophecy, and I had wrote the Congress and spoke unto them twice concerning these things and concerning about the law of democracy and the law that God gave Moses. I told them this. You don't suppose to kill and slay the man because he's a prophecy of Job, and they allowed this to go forward in the way cursing the United States of America. So now, instead of them backing up, they're digging themselves deeper and deeper, going down and going down and going down until at the end, this red horse that came, he's a trigger part that was going to take peace from the earth. He was represented by President George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush. It lets you know the conquest had went so far, and they had just the world had to serve this white horse, which came out of the Chaldees and the peoples of the north. They became industrialized nations, giants in earth, richest nations of the earth. They dominated both world trade markets, and they dominated with towering of strength. And what they did was they took the weakest of the nation through their technology and everything that God had gave them, and they thought they were giving themselves so they could be dominant. Because what they had insulted God, saying that the earth was created by an accident. Anytime they said it came by way of evolution, it doesn't matter what their terminology is. They can sugarcoat all one. That's insult of God. They said it came by a way of an accident. But yet they take and made God's people to serve him. Take and rob the poor, all poorest nation, all over the world, where they couldn't serve their own God, and they try to create fear among all nations of the world. And when they do these here, they cause people who fear them to serve them and cause them to die anyway, fight their battles and everything for them. And they sit back and enjoy the spoil. But now it's coming to the end. They know now that Jesus has sent a man here. I am the last prophet here. The only horse is left now is the pale horse. And this pale horse is the family, came from the family tree of this. He knew that there is no other card. He don't have a whole card and no other lie to tell. So what he's going to do is he's going to empty this world, go and try to destroy this whole entire world. I wish I could give you a better news than this, but I'm telling the truth. He's going to use his nuclear weapon, but he's going to say that he was a way of provocation. But this was not a way caused by way of provocation, because there's no way that you go and try to destroy the whole entire world because of one provocation. Because of his industries need the crude oil over there to sustain them. If they don't have that oil, then they can't use their weapons of mass destruction. So by them saying that there was no God, we came by way of evolution, they got to go against the gods of God and take the crude oil, because it's essential that the United States have it and the rest of the industrialized world have it. But after they take this, as it's spoken of in Daniel chapter 4 and Revelation chapter 6, the black horse, where the oil, crude oil, he said, save the oil. That means the oil is not going to be cut off. But the strength of the oil, by him telling us in Daniel chapter 4, to cut off the limbs, shake off the leg, means take the strength of it away from it. Take its food from it. They're going to be buying the oil, trading it for weapons of mass destruction, coming back